Welcome back to our channel History Coins HD. As you that old is gold, but these rare Lincoln wheat penny coin that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1 today, we're going deep into the story of a humble little coin that's stirring up major waves in the numismatic world. It's small, copper-colored, and looks like any other penny until you look just a little closer. We're talking about none other than the 1944 Lincoln wheat penny. Don't be fooled by its modest appearance. This coin is anything but ordinary. In fact, it could be worth a life-changing amount of money. So stick with us to the end, because we're going to uncover what makes this coin so special, what to look for, and just how much one of these rare beauties might be worth today. Let's rewind the clock for a moment. It's 1944. The world is still at war. Factories across the United States are running at full tilt, producing machinery, vehicles, weapons, and ammunition for the war effort. Materials like copper are in high demand. Every ounce counts. In response, the U.S. Mint had experimented with different coin materials. In 1943, for example, pennies were made of zinc-coated steel instead of the usual copper to save vital resources for the war, but by 1944, the Mint returned to copper coins, well, mostly. And here's where things get interesting. Most 1944 pennies were struck using the regular copper alloy planchets. But in rare cases, leftover steel blanks from 1943 were accidentally used at the Denver Mint in 1944. That mistake led to one of the rarest and most desirable error coins in American history, the 1944 Lincoln wheat penny struck on a steel planchet. This is no ordinary error. It's incredibly rare. Only a few examples are known to exist. That means if you're lucky enough to come across one of these steel cents from 1944 with the tiny D mint mark beneath the date, you may be holding a true numismatic treasure. But even the standard 1944 D copper penny has captured the attention of collectors worldwide. Why? Because of its history, its wartime context, and how variations in minting anomalies can change its value dramatically. And now let's talk about the design that has stood the test of time. On the front, or the obverse, of the coin, we have the iconic bust of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. His image first appeared on the penny in 1909, marking the centennial of Lincoln's birth, and it remains a powerful tribute to one of America's most beloved presidents. The words "In God We Trust" arc above his head, liberty appears to the left, and the date 1944 is stamped on the right, just above that small but crucial D mint mark, indicating it was produced in Denver. Turn the coin over, and you'll find two wheat ears curving along each edge of the reverse, a simple yet elegant reminder of American agriculture and prosperity. Between them, the words 1 cent and United States of America are boldly displayed, with the motto E pluribus unum just above. The wheat penny design was retired in 1958, replaced by the Lincoln Memorial reverse in 1959, making the wheat pennies of finite and nostalgic series highly collectible, especially for those struck during wartime years. So what makes a 1944 Lincoln wheat penny more valuable than others? It all comes down to condition, rarity, and those famous minting errors. If the coin is in poor shape, scratched, worn down, corroded, it might only fetch a few cents, or maybe $1 or $2 to someone filling out a collection. But if the coin is in mint state, with sharp detail, beautiful luster, and little to no sign of wear, it becomes far more attractive to serious collectors. Graded coins, those authenticated and ranked by professional services like PCGS or NGC, can command impressive prices, especially if they receive a high mint state grade like MS65 or above. But the real prize? That extremely rare version of the 1944 D penny struck on a steel planchet. Because these were errors, only a handful escaped the mint and entered circulation. Imagine millions of regular copper pennies being produced, and just a few steel ones slipping through. These coins are unicorns in the world of collecting, nearly impossible to find and priceless to the right buyer. One such coin was authenticated, graded, and auctioned. Its unique material, wartime connection, and mint origin made it one of the most sought-after coins in recent history. And now, for the moment you've been waiting for, the answer to that burning question: just how much is a rare 1944 D Lincoln wheat penny worth? If you have one of these extraordinary steel planchet versions in pristine condition, it could be worth as much as $120,000, yes. You heard that right. So before you toss that old penny aside or cash in a jar of coins, take a closer look. You never know when you might be holding a tiny piece of history, worth a massive fortune. Not if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of America's most fascinating coins, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe for more treasure hunting stories, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Top 2, we're taking you on a journey into the world of rare American coins, and we're zooming in on a small but mighty piece of numismatic history, the 1950 Lincoln wheat penny. At first glance, it might look like any other coin. It's copper. It's got Abraham Lincoln's face on the front. It's been in pockets, drawers, coin jars, and piggy banks for generations. But the 1950 wheat penny holds secrets that many people completely overlook. It's not just a coin, it's a story, a survivor of post-war America, and for a lucky few, it could be a golden ticket. And now let's rewind to 1950. The United States had just come out of the 1940s, a decade marked by war, sacrifice, and economic transformation. By 1950, America was booming again. The factories that once built tanks and aircraft were now producing cars and consumer goods. Suburbs were growing. Families were hopeful. And through it all, coins like the Lincoln wheat penny kept changing hands, quietly capturing a snapshot of American life in their copper skin. But not all pennies are created equal. The one we're talking about today, the 1950 has its own story, and for the right collector, it can be a prize worth more than its weight in gold. Let's start with the basics. The D in 1950 stands for Denver, the U.S. mint location that struck the coin. Each mint had slight differences in production quality, and sometimes, just sometimes, tiny imperfections, variations, or errors would slip through the cracks. While millions of pennies were minted in 1950, only a select few from the Denver mint have drawn major attention from collectors and investors alike. Why? Because of condition, rarity, and the elusive world of minting anomalies. Let's break that down. Most 1950 pennies were used heavily in circulation. They passed from hand to hand, wore down, got scratched, stained, and tossed in jars. Today, most of them are worn in common, worth just a few cents. But here's where it gets exciting. A small number of these coins were never used. They were set aside, untouched, perfectly preserved, and those are the ones that send collectors into a frenzy. And now imagine this, a 1950 Lincoln wheat penny, with razor-sharp detail, a gleaming finish, and absolutely no signs of wear. These are known as mint state coins. When graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, these coins receive a numerical score based on their condition, with 70 being perfect. A 1950 penny graded MS65, MS66, or even higher? That's a treasure, but it doesn't end there. Some 1950 wheat pennies have subtle but rare minting errors, maybe a double die, an off-center strike, or even a planchet flaw. These small mistakes can make a big difference in value because they make the coin unique. And in the world of coin collecting, unique equals valuable. Let's not forget the design, the classic look that makes the wheat penny series so beloved. On the front, we see Abraham Lincoln in profile, a symbol of integrity and leadership. Above him are the words, "In God we trust." To the left is liberty, and to the right, the year, 1950. Just beneath the year is the small but important D, marking the Denver mint. Flip the coin, and you get the beautiful simplicity of two wheat stalks curving along the sides, thus the nickname wheat penny. Between them is the bold statement 1 cent, followed by United States of America and the motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one. It's not just currency, it's a time capsule. It's a piece of post-war optimism, forged in copper and tucked away in change drawers across the country. But now let's talk value. Because while most 1950 pennies are common, the rare ones, the flawless ones, the ones with mint errors or ultra-high grades, those are where the magic happens. Auction houses and collectors around the world are always on the lookout for pristine wheat pennies. They know that the finest examples are getting harder and harder to find. Every year, more coins are lost, damaged, or forgotten. And that's what makes the surviving high-quality specimens all the more valuable. So, if you've got a 1950 penny sitting in a box somewhere, it might be worth more than you think. Check the color. Look for luster. Examine the details. If it's nearly perfect, or better yet, if it has a rare error, it could be something truly extraordinary. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. Just how much could a rare, uncirculated, high-grade 1950 Lincoln wheat penny be worth? The answer might surprise you. 1 such coin, perfectly preserved and highly graded, was sold for a jaw-dropping $115,000. That's right, what once was just a single cent has become a life-changing amount of money for someone lucky enough to spot its hidden value. So before you toss that old penny back into the coin jar, take a second look. You might be holding a piece of American history, and maybe even a small fortune. Top 3, we're unlocking the story behind a small copper coin with a big legacy, the 1953 Lincoln Wheat penny. Now, most people wouldn't give a second thought to a penny. It's the most overlooked coin in circulation. But what if I told you that one of those ordinary-looking pennies could actually be a secret treasure? A coin so rare, so pristine, and so valuable that it could rewrite your idea of what spare change really means. So get ready, because today's story is about more than just a coin. It's about history, rarity, mystery, and the thrill of the hunt. Let's travel back to the early 1950s. It was a time of change and confidence in the United States. The Korean War had just ended, President Eisenhower had taken office, and America was racing into a new era of technology and prosperity. Amid all this, the U.S. Mint was busy striking millions of pennies, including the one we're focusing on today, the 1953 Lincoln Wheat penny. You might be asking, what's so special about this one? The D stands for the Denver Mint, which produced a significant number of pennies that year. But as with all things in the world of coin collecting, it's not just the year or the mint that matters, it's the details. The difference between a common penny and a life-changing one often comes down to condition, rarity, and the fascinating world of mint errors. Let's talk design for a moment. The 1953 Wheat penny features the classic profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side. It's the same proud, stoic face that's been gracing the penny since 1909. Surrounding Lincoln are the words, "In God We Trust," "Liberty" to the left, and the year 1953 on the right. Just below the year, that small but important D mint mark tells us it was minted in Denver. Flip the coin over, and you'll find the iconic wheat stalks arching along the edges of the reverse side. Between them, the bold words 1 cent and United States of America stand strong, with E pluribus unum above it all. This design is not just beautiful in its simplicity, it's a snapshot of American pride, industry, and agricultural roots. Now here's where things get interesting. While most of the 1953 Wheat pennies were used and worn in circulation, a small number were kept aside in flawless condition, unhandled, untouched, and perfectly preserved. These coins, known as mint state, have survived the decades without a scratch. And those are the ones that collectors go absolutely crazy for, but there's more. Some 1953 pennies were struck with extremely rare minting errors, double dies, off-center strikes, repunched mint marks, or coins struck on the wrong planchet. These kinds of mistakes are rare because quality control at the mint catches most of them before they leave the facility. But once in a while, one slips through. And when it does, it becomes a one-of-a-kind collector's dream. Even without an error, the 1953 Wheat penny in high mint state condition is incredibly desirable. Why? Because the Wheat penny series, which ran from 1909 to 1958, is one of the most beloved coin series in American history. Collectors strive to build full sets, especially ones that include the highest grade versions of each coin. That makes every rare mint state example a hot commodity, but let's not forget the human side of this story. These pennies were once in pockets and purses across the country. They may have been used to buy a soda at a corner drugstore, slipped under a child's pillow by the tooth fairy, or saved in a coin jar for years. Every one of them carries a bit of American history, and when one survives in perfect condition, it becomes a relic of an era gone by. So, how can you tell if your 1953 penny is special? First, check the condition. Is the coin shiny with a strong, crisp design and no signs of wear? If so, it could be a mint state coin. Next, look for unusual features, doubling in the lettering, off-center images, or anything that seems just a little bit off. If you think you have something rare, don't clean it ever. Cleaning can actually reduce its value. Instead, have it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. And now, for the moment you've been waiting for, just how much can a 1953 Lincoln Wheat penny be worth? Well, while most are worth just a few cents to a few dollars depending on condition, a small number of flawless, rare examples, those preserved in superb condition or with dramatic minting errors, have stunned the collecting world with their value. One such coin, perfectly preserved, carefully graded, and highly coveted by collectors, has been known to reach the jaw-dropping price of $110,000. That's right, the coin that once bought a piece of candy could now buy a brand new luxury car or a down payment on your dream home. So before you drop that old penny into the tip jar or pass it by without a second glance, take a moment to check the date. You never know when you might be holding a little piece of history and a whole lot of value. Top 4. We're talking about a sleeper in the coin collecting world, a coin that most people wouldn't glance at twice. But to collectors and experts, it's a hidden gem. We're diving into the story of the 1954 Lincoln Wheat penny. You're going to want to stay with us until the end, because this one could blow your mind. And now, let's set the scene. The year is 1954. The world is rapidly changing. The post-war economic boom is still roaring in America. Elvis Presley is starting to make waves in the music scene, televisions are becoming a household staple, and in Denver, Colorado, the U.S. Mint is busy producing millions of coins, including the penny we're focusing on today. At first glance, the 1954 Wheat penny might not look like much. It's small, it's copper, and it looks almost identical to other pennies from the era. But for those who understand coins, this little piece of copper holds more than just monetary value. It holds history, rarity, and in some cases, life-changing worth. Let's talk about the design for a second. On the obverse, the front, you'll find the familiar face of Abraham Lincoln, proudly engraved by Victor David Brenner. His profile has been featured on the penny since 1909, making it the longest-running design in U.S. coin history. Just above Lincoln's head are the words, "In God We Trust." On the left, Liberty. And to the right, the date, 1954. Just beneath the year, a small letter D tells us this penny was minted in Denver. Flip the coin over, and you'll see the classic wheat penny reverse. Two curved stalks of wheat border the sides, framing the words 1 cent and United States of America, with the Latin phrase E pluribus unum arched along the top. It's a simple but iconic design, a reflection of American values, strength, and agricultural pride. Now, here's where things start to get fascinating. Millions of these coins were struck at the Denver Mint in 1954. But not all pennies are created equal. Over time, most were circulated, worn down, scratched, and tossed into pockets, jars, and drawers. Today, you can still find a 1954 penny in circulation, but chances are, it'll be a bit beat up, tarnished, or faded from years of use. And those? Those are common. They're worth face value, maybe a bit more to a beginner collector, but the rare ones? There's something else entirely. There's a tiny percentage of 1954 Lincoln Wheat pennies that have survived in absolutely pristine, uncirculated condition. These are called mint state coins, and they are flawless or nearly flawless examples, just as they were the moment they left the mint. They have sharp details, bright luster, and no wear whatsoever. These coins are the holy grail for collectors, and then, we enter the world of error coins. Imagine this: you're holding a coin that somehow slipped past quality control at the mint. Maybe it was struck off-center, has doubling on the date or lettering, or features a repunched mint mark. These minting errors make coins extremely unique, because each one is a little different from the rest. And collectors love that. The stranger the error, the more valuable the coin can become. Now, there are even rarer cases where a 1954 penny was struck on the wrong planchet, meaning it was accidentally struck on a blank meant for a dime or foreign coin. These are incredibly rare and, if authenticated, can skyrocket in value. So let's recap. You've got a coin from a historic era, beautifully designed, with a dedicated following of collectors, and the potential for incredibly rare mint state condition or unique errors. That's a recipe for big value, and it doesn't just stop at theory. These rare examples have actually gone to auction. Some have been professionally graded by services like PCGS and NGC, receiving high grades like MS65, MS66, or even MS67. When coins reach this level, especially with eye-catching qualities, they become investment pieces, treasures that collectors fight for. But let's say you have one. You find a shiny 1954 wheat penny tucked in an old box, or maybe inherited from a grandparent who saved their coins. You pull it out, and it's crisp, clear, and seemingly untouched. What could it be worth? Well, while most 1954 wheat pennies are worth just a few cents or a couple of dollars, a top-graded mint state example, or a verified rare error coin, could sell for something far more extraordinary. And now, for the moment you've all been waiting for, the big reveal. A rare, high-grade, or error 1954 Lincoln Wheat penny in pristine condition has been known to sell for as much as $107,000. Yes, that's right. A single penny. 1 cent. With the right mix of rarity, condition, and timing, it could be worth more than a luxury car or a year's salary. So next time you're sorting through old coins, digging through a coin jar, or browsing a flea market, keep your eyes peeled. Because you never know, the next coin you find might just be one of the rarest of them all. Top 5. We're shining the spotlight on a coin that many people overlook, yet it holds the potential to be one of the most exciting finds in your entire collection. It's small, it's simple, it's copper, and it's been around for decades. We're talking about the 1957 D. Lincoln wheat penny. You might have seen one. You might even have one. But the real question is, do you know what it could be worth? Stick around, because we're going deep into the story behind this iconic coin. We'll explore the history, the details, the errors, and what makes some of these coins incredibly valuable, and we'll save the best part, the jaw-dropping value reveal, for the very end. Let's set the scene. It's 1957. America is on the cusp of the space race, Elvis Presley is dominating the music charts, and families are gathering around black and white TVs to watch shows like Leave It to Beaver. It was a time of booming optimism and growth, and while the world was changing fast, one thing stayed steady: the humble Lincoln wheat penny. In that year, the Denver Mint was busy striking millions of 1-cent coins, each bearing the proud face of Abraham Lincoln. The D Mint mark just below the year 1957 tells us it was produced in the Denver Mint. These coins were made in large numbers, and many of them went into circulation. They paid for bubblegum, comic books, and soda pop at corner stores across America. But only a select few would one day become extremely rare and valuable. And now let's take a closer look at the coin itself. On the obverse, you'll find the right-facing portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, a timeless design by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln has graced the penny since 1909, and this particular portrait has become one of the most recognized and respected images in American coinage. Above Lincoln's head, the motto, "In God We Trust," reminds us of the nation's values. To the left is the word liberty, and to the right, the year 1957 stamped just above the tiny D. That letter is more than just a mint mark, it's a clue to the coin's origin, and sometimes, to its rarity. You flip the coin over, and you'll see the beloved wheat ears on both sides, arching inwards like a protective frame around the words 1 cent and United States of America. Just above it all, the Latin phrase e pluribus unum translates to out of many, one. This reverse design, used from 1909 to 1958, is what gives these coins their nickname, the wheat penny. But here's the secret that most people don't know: while millions of these coins were made, only a few have survived in pristine, mint condition. And that's where the magic happens. Let's talk about condition. Most of the 1957 D pennies you'll find today are heavily worn. They've passed through thousands of hands, spent decades in pockets, and bounced around in drawers and piggy banks. But a very small number, sometimes saved in bankrolls, coin collections, or never even used, have remained untouched. These coins are called mint state and are graded on a scale from 1 to 70. The higher the grade, the more perfect the coin, and the more collectors are willing to pay. But there's another twist to this story: error coins. That's right. Some 1957 D wheat pennies contain minting errors that make them exceptionally rare. Maybe the coin was struck off-center. Maybe the die doubled the image, creating a shadow-like effect known as doubled die. Or maybe the mint mark was stamped twice, creating a repunched mint mark. These are not flaws, they're treasures. Because mint errors are so rare and unique, collectors go crazy for them. So what happens when you combine rarity, flawless condition, historical context, and possibly even a mint error? You get a coin that might look like a simple penny to most people, but to a collector, it's something truly extraordinary. It's also worth noting that the wheat penny series is among the most beloved coin series in the United States. Collectors from all over the world try to complete full sets, and high-grade examples, especially from later years like 1957, can be surprisingly hard to find in top condition. That demand drives prices higher and higher at auctions. Now imagine this. You're going through your grandfather's old coin box. You pick up a 1957 D penny. It's bright, clean, and sharp, no scratches, no wear. Maybe it even has a small, odd detail that catches your eye. You decide to get it graded. Weeks later, the results come back: mint state, high grade, and yes, an authentic error. And now it's not just a coin anymore. It's an investment. A collector's dream. A piece of American history that could rewrite your understanding of what a penny saved really means. So let's bring it all together. You've got a coin from a historic year, a timeless design, potential for rare mint condition, the possibility of valuable minting errors, and strong demand from collectors around the globe. And now, for the part you've all been waiting for: just how much could the rarest, Highest grade 1957 D Lincoln Wheat penny be worth, a verified example in immaculate condition. Possibly featuring a rare error, has reached the incredible value of $98,000. Yes, you heard that right. A single copper penny, originally worth 1 cent, could be worth nearly $100,000 in the right circumstances. So, the next time you see a penny lying on the sidewalk, or you're sorting through old change, don't brush it off. Look at the date. Look for the D. Look closely. Because hidden in the everyday might be something truly priceless. If you loved this video and want more hidden treasure stories from the world of coin collecting, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss a discovery that could change your life. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy collecting!